Alright, in this tutorial I want to teach you how to create an assessment, a quiz or a test into Brainhoney. So we need to bring up a browser. I'm going to bring up Mozilla Firefox. You can bring up Google Chrome, Internet Explorer, however you like to get to Brainhoney. I don't care. I enjoy Firefox. Then we need to go to the site, isd465.brainhoney.com. When that loads, you need to log into that with your username and your password. And when you log in, you should see all of your classes that are available to you. I'm just going to create this assessment in my test course. You can create it in any of them you want. So I go to my test course. And you get there through the edit course link. Now we're going to create a test or an assessment. So I'm going to scroll down here. We're just going to create it in Unit 2 just because it's a blank place that I can create it. So I need to go to Add. And we need to add an assessment. Now this could be a test or a quiz or whatever kind of assessment you want, but this gives you the option to make an assessment. Just like with any assessment or assignment or editable content, you need a title. We're going to call this test clam. Right here in this area, this word editor box, we can type instructions for the test. This is a good place to remind students to do something important. Over here on the right are our assessment settings, so we can add a due date. So if we want it due perhaps in October, you can make it due in October. It needs to be an active course, so make sure you have it as an active course. You don't have to have a due date, but you can. Where do you want it added to the grade book? You can choose your category. If it's a homework, quiz, or test, or discussion board, and it can go there. The relative weight in the category, enter it as a percentage, all this grade book setting material. Then we can also come down here to assessment settings. These are good. Now this is different templates you can have. You can have it as a quiz, a unit test, final exam. I usually do mine as custom just because I end up changing the material in here. Default question score. A lot of times you use it 1 point per question, or maybe you want it 5 and you have parts of a question. Questions per page. I like to use this function so there's fewer problems for students to see and then they can move on from there. So maybe I only have 2 problems per page. They do those 2 problems and move on. It lets them feel like they're moving on or accomplishing more at times. Scoring attempts. If this is a quiz or a test, maybe you want it only 1 time. Or maybe you want to give them 2 chances at it. Or maybe 3. If this is, maybe it's something to check their homework or check their understanding, it's unlimited. They do it as many times as they want. Now, when do you want to score it? Off their last time, their first time, or their highest time? Or maybe it's the average of all the times they've taken it. So there's a couple options there. Okay, you can go through and play with these. Allow to save and continue. Maybe they don't get done in class. You allow them to save it, take it home, and finish up. Randomize the question order. Randomize answer order within questions. Both of these functions are very nice. Randomize the question order if they take it at a different time or a second time, then they get different questions, or at least in a different order. If they're sitting next to somebody taking the same test, they don't get the same questions in the same order, so that allows you to curb cheating. Randomize the answer order within questions. So if it's a multiple choice answer, they're all flip-flopped and messed around. That's good. A lot of times I like to require an answer to all the questions before they can submit it. There's different review settings for you and a question pool. All are very good functions to use. Visibility and completion, just when the students can see it. You can restrict it by date or by mastery, or you can take it off. If you take off visible to students off here, they won't be able to see it, but they can see it in the table of contents. They just can't access it. A lot of times I just take them both off and then you know they can't see it. Okay, so that's all our setup for a quiz or an assessment. So let's look at the questions. There's 2 ways to get to the questions. You can come over here and click on the next button, or you can come up here and click on the questions button. I like to go here, click on questions. Now, the biggest dilemma is that there's 2 different formats. There's this basic one where you choose your category. They don't give you very many options. It's multiple choice, short answer, essay, matching, multiple answer, custom. And then you just type, you just start typing your questions in here. For some classes that's great, and for some teachers that's good too. I really like the advanced edit view a little bit better. It allows you more control and more options over what you're doing. And so we're going to go straight into the advanced edit view. Once you go into the advanced edit view, you can no longer edit in this basic format. So make sure it's what you want to do before you go into it. Once you go, you can't go back. So I go into it. It changes the outlook of it. But it over on the right here gives you all the ways to do it. So if I want to fill in the blank, I click fill in the blank. It puts the code in there for me. So you can type a question for fill in the blank. But perhaps maybe I would like a multiple choice. It gives you the format for multiple choice, which is really nice. The only problem is you have to learn how to interpretate the code. So perhaps in this fill in the blank question, you don't care if they use capital letters or if they use all lowercase. It makes it case insensitive. This is where you have to learn about the options. So the option for case insensitive, you have to put that in and it loads your options up. So there's a lot of different things here. So here's a question: what color is the sky? And I could say blue, green, red, or yellow. Okay, now for the multiple choice here, it gives us A, B, C, or D. You have to put which one is right. So if we want A to be right, you need to have an asterisk in front of it. Okay. Now for this one, maybe I want a math question. So solve the expression. And then I have a math question. To do math, you have to have the correct text, the correct method of putting it in. So I'm going to put 2 plus 4. Okay? Now where your line is the fill in the blank option. So that's where the fill in the blank will be. Now if you need a really long fill in the blank, you add some length to it. If you need a short one, not a big deal. You keep it short. So I'm going to leave this one long for an example. And then put your answer in. So answer is 6. Now if you want to see what this looks like as a test, you click preview. And there's what we see. See how my box is really long for that? That's because it was really long over here. So solve the equation 6 and then hit check. Gives me a check mark, that's right. What's the color of the sky? The answer should be blue, so students would have to click blue. Alright, now let's go through and see what this looks like. So when I'm all done, I can click done. And it gives me my test here. Now I can preview it and see it just like a student. So preview, right click, click on preview. And this is how a student would see it. If I wrote directions, the directions would be here. They can print it off, or we can hit start. And then I can plug in my answers. So solve the expression. I'm going to put one wrong answer. So we'll put red. Then submit. Now this is me taking it, so I can do it as many times as I want. So in this one, because of the way I had it set up, it tells them what the correct answer is. It tells them their score as well. So pretty neat stuff. That is how we create an assessment in Brainhoney.